ran into our tree on the property and died. We had Diane, they didn't really ditch, get in the car.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we'll have Dawn read the minutes from the previous meeting.
August 2nd, 2016. The special meeting regarding the proposed law number 2, opting out of the automatic exemption provided for solar, wind, and farm waste energy systems, was called to order at 7:30 p.m. by Supervisor Jeff Taggart. Present were Supervisor Jeff Taggart, David Grant, Dwight Bruno, Donnie Smith, Highway Superintendent Mark Lang, and Paul Miller. Absent was Garrett Sitz. The town has been advised by Attorney Cheryl Sacco to opt out of this exemption. There are concerns that this will also apply to homeowners who use any of these energy alternatives. People were wondering, are the school and village also opting out of the exemptions? At this time, the board will table the opting out of this exemption. A motion was made by Donnie Smith and seconded by David Grant to close the public hearing at 8:30 p.m. All present agreed. The minutes from the July 5th, 2016 meeting were read. Donnie Smith made a motion to accept the minutes as read. Dwight Bruno seconded the motion, and all present agreed. The Rec Commission reported that all has gone well this summer. There will be yard sales on Old Franklin Day. Nothing from the planning board, no meeting in July or August unless needed. Jeff read a letter from John Anderson thanking the town for taking care of the Methodist Society Cemetery. Mark Doring mowed it before July 4th and will do it again around Labor Day. Jeff will see if the town can get some assistance from the county in the future. Ken Walter reported on the trust. They will be getting new benches for the commons. The audit will once again be done by Sonia Johns. There will be revisions to the election qualifications for the Kellogg Franklin Trust. Mark Lane reported that on September 5th, they will be doing more paving on Case Hill, Stockman, and East Hanson Brook roads. They will also be doing more chip sealing as soon as they can get on Jackson Hill, Gay Brook, Tupper Hill, and Perry roads. Community body should be here on September 9th, and they are getting everything ready to put it on. They should be able to get a 10-foot plow a bit cheaper due to an overstock. Dwight Bruno is wondering if we could pass a resolution in response to Frontier being very slow to respond to the needs of Franklin residents when they are without phone service. It could have detrimental effects if somebody had a medical emergency. Jeff Taggart was contacted by William Bernald from the town of Hancock. He would like Franklin to support opening bear season earlier this fall. David Grant made a motion to pass a resolution to send a letter to DEC and the town of Hancock supporting the pursuit of an earlier bear season. Donnie Smith seconded the motion, and all present agreed. With no further business to come before the board, Donnie Smith made a motion to adjourn the meeting at 8:55 p.m. David Grant seconded, and all present agreed.
Any additions or corrections? Have a motion?
Make a motion to accept the minutes.
And a second?
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Dwight, is Ken gonna be here tonight?
Ken is not going to be here, so I volunteered to just review the last meeting of the Kellogg Trust Board. And just give me just a second here. Okay, alrighty. So the meeting was held on August 24th, 2016. We had Deb Tuthill, Ken Walter, myself, Dave Tuthill, Lisa Height, Jim Carey at the meeting. The money end of things in the checking account, there is currently, or as of 8/31/2016, $24,691.02. And in the Morgan Stanley Trust fund account, there's $945,619.19. There were no bills presented for payment. As far as the field and the facilities go, there's a dog station that is up and running, so we're hoping that people will pick up after their dogs. Benches are being researched as being purchased. Probably they'll purchase some of those Polywood benches that are very low maintenance. Currently, the benches they have are wood, so you gotta stain them and paint them and mess with them all the time. So that's being looked into as far as the purchase goes. Also, they're looking at the possibility of securing some outdoor security cameras, just because there's a lot of stuff down there now, and I want to make sure that, you know, the area is being properly monitored from time to time. Okay, committee reports. For the educational committee, permission was granted to purchase a TV for the educational committee facility. Up to this point, the Tuthills have been good enough to bring their TV down, and so they were using that one. Deb Tuthill agreed to stay on the board for one more year. We purchased, or the board purchased, a $100 gift card for Bruce Shaw. And Bruce does not take any payment at all for picking up the trash. He does it gratis, so we thought that would be nice to do. That passed. The next trust election is going to be October 11th from 6 to 9 at the Treadwell School. And they'll be putting notices up at various places. Ken Walter is going to be, you may be aware, stepping down as chairman, and the October meeting will be his last meeting. And he'll be missed. He's done a lot over the years. He's really immersed himself in the trust and done a lot. And the meeting was adjourned at 7:05, and the next meeting will be September 28th, 6 p.m., right here at the firehouse. And that's it.
Thank you, Dwight. Any questions for Dwight? On the trust, 945,000, you said, right?
Yes.
What, there's, part of that is on a separate fund, or?
Yes. There's a
Okay.
Morgan Stanley Trust Fund, and then there's the checking account. That's at $24,691.
But wasn't there it's probably part of the Morgan Trust Company, another, like, they had,
This is a composite fund, that figure.
right.
There are two
Well,
components to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, yeah,
The one I think is 800, and the other one is 100 or something. I
Right.
don't know exactly, but that's the composite amount.
that's it, yep. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions? Okay. I see Mary Ann here. You wanna speak, I guess?
Yes, I do, and, well, I wanted to follow up with the phone service problems that we've been having on Tucker Hill,
Oh, okay.
and in our area as well. We seem to have ongoing phone service problems, and not related to storms. And this is Nancy Masucci, for those of you who don't know Nancy. So she's here on the same topic. Our personal problems started in the spring when we lost phone service, and it took 4 or 5 days to get the service repaired. And I mean, we're not a dairy anymore, but we still have lots of need for a phone. And we don't have cell service in that area either. So we don't really have any other options but running to the neighbors, or, you know, it's so funny because I would say 10 years ago, our phone service was much better than it is today. I wanted to go over this letter that that came to me, because I did complain to the FCC, and then I want Nancy to talk about her nightmare. But my nightmare isn't quite as bad as hers. My sister-in-law Sue and I, we kind of keep an eye on my parents over there, and they were out of phone service, and so Sue called the phone company, and they gave them a repair date 6 days in the future. And it was one of those really humid 90-degree days, and I said, you know, anything can happen over there. And my brother, of course, is on the farm too, and he didn't have any phone service either. So, a couple days later, when it wasn't repaired, I called again. And what really bothered me about it was the person on the other end asked me for a reason why they should repair the phone before the 6-day period. So we're talking about July 20th, and I called again on the 22nd. And they said, well, you need to give me some specific reasons. And I said, it's 90 and they're 90. How about that? And they said, no, that's not specific enough. So they wanted me to detail health problems that my parents had. And I said, well, I have nothing to lose and our lives are open books. So I gave them some more specific health problems that they had. But it's not just that. You know, anybody can have a health problem. And the thing of it is, when you don't have phone service and you have no alternative, you have no cell service either. I mean, if I want to make a cell service phone call, I have to drive probably 4 miles. And in an emergency situation, you know, we've got people working in the barn and there's no service there. If somebody got hurt or cut or, you know, anything like that, there's just nothing. So anyway, I complained to the FCC, and I also complained because I feel that Frontier has a monopoly here. And they receive federal money to upgrade service in this area. And they did run cables, but it has done nothing for our cell service. In fact, I think it's worse. I think it's worse than it was in the 90s. Now, the problem with our personal cell service, we're 4 miles from my parents, were mice in those little green posts. And it wasn't a big fix. We were out for 4 days just because
Well,
there
that
were
was landline, not
mice.
cell service.
Right, yeah, we don't have cell
Right,
service.
right.
There were mice homes in that
Mice, snakes.
post. So
Something makes home.
the other people that I know of that have had problems, the residents were out at the same time. The halls of reporting hearing other neighbors talking when they're talking, like the old party line. So that was really bad. And, you know, we have a lot of farms here, we have emergencies, we have city folks. Everybody needs a phone. It used to take, now, I have to say, it wasn't that long ago, when you could call, you had an outage, that phone would be fixed in 24 hours. Hardly no fail. But 6 days is a long time to be out of phone service. So, long story short, after I gave them the detailed health information, which is protected by the HIPAA law, but I gave it to them. I did too. They had it fixed in 3 days instead of the 6, but I'm telling you, it's just unacceptable. I know there's nothing you can do about it, but I wanted you to know about it because it may affect other people in the town. Our whole hill and beyond us to Freer Hollow and down to Palmer Hill have also been affected.
We were
And
just affected the other day. We were out for a day and a half. Somebody had done some digging, they said. I don't know what it was.
Could call long distance.
You have to call them.
oh
You know,
yeah,
couldn't
that
go
was the
distance.
long distance. Yeah, we were out of long distance too.
But I could call an 877 number.
Right, a
But I
toll-free
couldn't,
number.
I couldn't call an
Right.
800 number though.
Yeah, me
I tried
too.
800, you couldn't call.
Right,
But the 877 went through.
but everything is long distance from
So
Franklin.
I'm not sure.
The great thing is, when that happened, my cell phone worked. On that weird day,
So, okay, I didn't have any either, and I just, whatever.
So let's
Oh.
hear
I didn't
about
realize it was a
Nancy's
widespread.
issues.
well, ours is very similar.
I couldn't get a hold of
Ours is
Angie.
always in and out. And to go, we even wait a day before we even bother to call because it's
Right.
always out. And before this last one, I had called, we got a postcard saying they were gonna upgrade, they could upgrade our internet. So I called and I made an appointment for August 9th. And they said they could come out and upgrade. And that Saturday was August 6th, our phone went out. And I tried to call that night and I got disconnected and I just waited till the next day, figuring it'd be back on. On Sunday, I called and was told, you already have a fix-it ticket, somebody's coming Tuesday. And I said, no, they're coming for the internet. Can you add that, please? Tell them it's out, just add that on there. They assured me they would. On Tuesday, I got a call saying, nobody's coming, we can't upgrade your area, you're useless. You know, there's no hope for your area as far as the upgrades. And I said, but wait, I still have no phone. I can't help you, I'm not the guy coming, I'm just a guy in an office. I said, well, and he hung up. So I called again and complained, and when you complain, you get disconnected or accidentally. And I was very nice and I was very patient, and then I was told, oh, somebody will come on Friday. So, what do you mean, somebody was coming today? No, somebody's coming Friday. I stayed home all day Friday. They told me, I don't remember the time frame they said, but in the mid-afternoon I called. They said, nobody's coming. I was shocked. I mean, I talked to them almost every day. They told me I was a priority, I was not a priority. If you ask for a supervisor, then they get really nasty. And then you get somebody else who's really nasty, and then you get disconnected again after you're on the phone for an hour. Then you call again and you're on the phone for an hour, and then you get disconnected again. And then you get those little things that say, do you want to stay on at the end and do a survey? Well, when they don't like what you say, they take that away and they don't even let you do the survey. Then one day I called. I got one guy who was nice, and I asked him, could I call you personally again? And he said, no, but I could give you my email. He never did. He told me, he went back and looked at my internet service, and he went way back, and he said, you never have coverage. And I said, I know, and I'm paying for this. And twice they had a problem where our internet was out, and then they came on and said, well, if you pay $19.99 more a month, you'll get this Frontier Secure business. Okay, we put that on there. And, well, actually, they told ours it would be $10. And then that was $19.99. And then the problem happened again 2 months later. So I called up and I canceled it, saying I'm paying for it and it's not working. But they kept it on the bill. Anyway, long story short, at one point I asked for a supervisor and I said, I'm really sorry, but I've been out for almost 2 weeks. I talked about a medical necessity. They didn't care. And they said, I can't tell you. I said, I don't think anybody else in my area has been out this long. I don't think you have enough technicians. You need to take care of this. And I'm paying for service I'm not receiving. And she said, I cannot tell you how many people are out worldwide. I didn't ask you how many people are out worldwide. And then I got disconnected again. But in the end, I got somebody 2 weeks later who told me they found the problem, they had to order parts, all this big baloney story it turned out. Because then this guy just showed up one day, 2 weeks, almost to the day later, it was 15 days, to the day later, just showed up and said, no, there's no parts. There's a problem in between you and the last guy, and we fixed it. So, just needed to send somebody over to look at it. And like you said, in the past, a long time ago, you're out, you wait a day, it'll come back on.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you call and it was taken care of.
Well, that's the deregulation, I think, a lot of it. You know, NYSEG's the same way. They used to have 10 crews out of Walton or Hamden, whatever you want to call it, and now they got 1 or 2. So if there is an outage of any major sort, they gotta wait for people to come in, and telephone, I guess, probably doesn't do that, because it's not as important, or I don't know what it is. But it is an issue, there's no doubt. And you're right, we were spoiled, or we were treated like we should have been treated years ago, and now it's just become very sloppy.
I called Verizon and asked if there was a way to get landline service from them. And they gave me a number, I have to research that and look it up, and they said, if you're having trouble, they apologized up and down, and told me they were gonna tell their supervisor, and I said, no, I'm not complaining about you, I'm complaining about Frontier, and they said, oh, that's okay, you shouldn't have to deal with that. I was like, thank you.
Careful what you wish for. We can tell you stories about Verizon.
They do a landline service?
They're terrible.
Oh, okay, so it's
We
not any
deal
better.
with them all the time. They make Frontier look like a bunch of choir boys.
Oh, boy.
Well, we do have one good technician in the area. It's Bubby's brother. And he's very good. I mean, he was the one that came over. And he apologized up and down, but he only does what he's, the repairs that come through.
I think that's the problem. I think when you call,
it goes to like Baltimore, Maryland.
Right,
And they're like, oh, your phone's out, well, too bad, because we have cell service here, and they
Yeah.
think we have cell service and we don't. I
right.
don't think they understand, and I think there's a communication
Mhm.
issue between the
Mhm.
call-out tickets and the repairman.
Now, the FCC, thing is still open. I told them I wasn't satisfied because, now, in the past, they also, have never given us a credit. But, after I wrote to the FCC, they gave my parents a nice credit. And did you get a credit?
I did get half off, because I told them
We
I
did
wasn't
too.
paying for half
Did
the
you get
bill.
half?
Yeah, we got credit.
And they did go back and take a few months of that security thing off too. So I finally got somebody to listen to.
I got a call from Jason Woodishek, who's I guess he's a regional manager in Sydney, and he apologized profusely, but said that they were going through a period of unbelievable breakage or issues, and so they were behind, and I basically said I didn't think that was a good excuse. And one thing I also brought up to him was the fact that they were asking for, what people's medical conditions were, and he said that was way out of line. And I guess that went up the line administratively, and they were gonna correct that and not be so difficult. Senator Seward's office also called me back, and they said that they were interested in knowing how this all shakes out, so.
But part of it, they're just not maintaining.
Right.
So they're having a lot more breaks.
Right, right.
Well, it's probably, maybe it's like nice, or like on a nice side.
On
Now,
that.
we had a problem back on Pine Trees up Merrillville Road. And they said, we don't have money for maintenance, but if it power's outage, we got money for that, but we can't maintain the lines. Now, that, it makes a whole lot of sense, you know.
I mean, the
A
bill.
couple of years ago, they were sending our guys to check for tree limbs and stuff that were hitting the line. And I knew one of them, they got hurt after one.
I know this spring there was a company checking power poles to see which ones had to be replaced and stuff, so maybe they're doing a better job now, but I know this was, I don't know how many years ago was that, Mark, when you had that up by the Kitties?
What's Hankels and McCoy, you must know, Mark, what are they doing?
High
speed.
For the high-speed internet?
Yep, they're putting that up right now.
And that's the other thing they mentioned, they put a wall up between internet issues and voice. And Public Service Commission, for whatever reason, told me that they'll only act on voice dial tone issues, not on internet communication. I don't know why, or what that is, but that's what they told me.
Give me the voice.
Yeah.
Okay, has everybody else got more remarks on this problem that we're having?
I think it's a lot of folks.
Right.
But just so you're aware of it, and, we wanted you to know, and, if you're in any position to, meet with other people that have any pull. What bothers me about Frontier is, they got $40 million, to upgrade services, and it said in 2015 to 650,000 rural farmers and business owners. Come on.
They missed you.
They missed us.
That's right.
And if there's any opportunity that we can, get a cell tower, we'd certainly take it.
Isn't there like a commissioner for public concern or something?
The Public Service Commission. I've been on with them too, the Public
Because
Service.
don't they regulate, like when they go asking for a raise or something? If
Yes,
there's so
they
many
do.
complaints that have
They
not been
do.
granted,
They do.
yeah.
It's the Public Service Commission, right?
Yeah.
PSC?
Yeah.
I have complained to them too. I haven't heard back from them, but I did hear back really fast from the FCC.
Your phone's disconnected.
I know. I'm really worried about that.
Well, I think, the new, emergency tower up on Klug Road, nobody wants to touch the top of it, but I was wondering if you could put cell service up,
I don't know what the.
I don't know what the regulations are on that. Or there's the other tower that's already still up there, the old one. mean, it wouldn't take a whole lot of tower, because you're so damn high to start with.
Boy, it is.
You wouldn't
can see
need-
that from
You'd
my
have to
window.
put a new tower there.
Yeah, that'd have to
Ready
be a new
fall
tower.
down.
Yeah, you'd have to put a new tower, but that's also, it's already an existing tower, you know, that might, you know, it wouldn't need 100-foot tower there, because you're already at the top of the, one of the highest points in the county. Already, I believe. But it would be nice off that 200-foot tower, that's, you know, if you could put cell service on that, they cover a big area. But that covers how far, Mark? That wouldn't. I mean, with that service, cell service wouldn't go that far, but.
They figure line of sight 3 miles is their coverage for
Right.
cell, what they want,
Right.
what they originally told us. When Crown put that one in at the shop.
Right. Okay.
Well, this is a letter that the board just signed, and I'm gonna send it off to the New York State PSC, Crouch, Seward, Bonachek.
Did you see it?
Maybe I'll send it to the FCC, but if you want.
I have Sharon Bowers' address here, and you can keep this letter for your file.
Well, we'll use that letter here, we
Yeah.
can give you a different one. If you wanna read it
I've
out
got,
loud,
yeah,
or if you want a
I
couple
got a bunch of
copies,
copies, so.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
we can take a couple copies. We'd like to have that one back, because we all signed it.
This, I got the
No,
sign.
Oh, you got the
Oh,
sign.
yeah, no, I don't think about the
Oh.
sign stuff.
Sewer time.
There was that invisible ink we used.